Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. We're going to talk about God is not a flying monkey. So you should be safe to watch this, even if you're not a really religious person. I won't get too deep into, I'm not going to go into scripture, but God is not a flying monkey. Through some of the contact I've had with some of my YouTubers is they kind of struggle with people that go to church. Sometimes, why do narcissists go to church? Is it because they're able to have this loving heart, and do they have a deep religious thirst? So narcissists can go to church to be around people. They don't like to be alone. Sometimes there's some good things that the churches do. So they want to be seen as the helper, adored for the things that they do. It gives them supply. It's not necessarily so they can help certain people. It's so they can get the supply that they need. Just like I'm single. If I want to go find a rich person, I might go to a country club. You go where what you want is. If I want to meet single people, I might go to the bar. So the narcissist goes where traditionally it's nice people at the bar, or I'm sorry, at church. So nice people usually give a lot, and not all nice people or all people at church are nice, but stereotypically you feel you're in a safe spot where you're going to find some nice people. So these narcissists will go because those are the people that are going to be easily manipulated, because they already have a kind, giving heart. And sometimes when I was growing up, my mom basically is atheist. My dad's super religious, but my mom would use Jesus if we did something. She would be like, does Jesus like that? What would Jesus think about that? And it's kind of like if my dad said it, it's like, okay, Dad, I get what you're saying. If my mom says it, you're kind of like, you're just using that as a tool, like using God or Jesus as a flying monkey to get your needs satisfied. If she needed us to settle down or to not argue in between siblings. So she's using God as a tool. And if you're a religious person, don't do that. We're not supposed to judge. That's up to God to judge. We need to be cautious. We can protect ourselves. So in a sense, it's like a judge as opposed to judgmental, because we have to evaluate. I say evaluate instead of judge. Evaluate if a person you're going to be with, whether it's a friend or a lover, evaluate if they're safe for you, evaluate if they're healthy for you, but don't judge them as a person. Don't put the wrath of God on them. And sometimes when we see them at church, I know this person's hurting because they're like, this person represented themselves as a Christian. And then they kind of were backstabbers. And that's hard to process. But we have to look at the big picture of who the person is, whether they're religious or not, whether they presented themselves as a Christian, Jewish, Muslim, whatever they presented themselves. And you felt a safetyness with them because of that kind of label. Just like, I should have a safety net if I have a husband. The label gave me comfort. But we got to look at what the true safety net is. It's not the label. So don't use God as a way to control the person, because I know this person struggled. Like, I want to say, don't you realize that you're being ungodly? Don't you know God is watching? And whether God or Joe Blow is watching, whoever's watching, doesn't matter. There's so many people in this world. It could be Lisa, it could be Katie, it could be Michael, it could be God, it could be Jesus, it could be whoever. Be aware in your interpersonal relationship with that person. Doesn't matter who's watching, whether it's God or a human. So using God or using Michael, just worry about the interaction with the person. Don't bring God as a tool for yourself, like how my mom brought, Jesus as a tool. God sometimes brings people into our lives for lessons learned. And sometimes it's really hard. Like, we think how horrible the situation was. Maybe we never know what's out there. So my relationship, I had 2 of them. Maybe that was to protect me, to keep me busy from being in another relationship with somebody who would have murdered me. You know, so we're sitting here in our little pity party about how our lives were destroyed. We don't know. Maybe God saved our lives. And he brought this toxic person in because the healthy person that I think wasn't cute, I didn't fall for them. So sometimes we're protected in not the best way, but it's because we're not accepting the things that we should. So have faith in whoever your God is, or in the universe or whatever it is, that things happen for a reason. You know, I had once where I needed chapstick and I was at a stoplight. So I went to reach down to get chapstick out of my purse and the light turned green. And, you know, I just needed to put that chapstick on. So it was a 2-3 second delay. And lightning struck right in front of where my car should have been if I did not put that chapstick on. And certain things like that, we never know exactly, like, why did I have this desire to put on chapstick at that time? Why didn't I wait? So as we go through life, you know, definitely don't use God to control anybody, to get them to change who they are. Don't use God to make these people take accountability. They need to take accountability within their own self, because otherwise they're just going through the motions in a sense, to where, you know, almost like if I'm only polite because my parents are watching. So I'm polite when my parents are there, but if my parents are gone, then I feel free reign. So sometimes the narcissist will forget about this God anyways, because they are so self-centered. So they're going to act out, because for a brief moment, you know, even if they're trying to believe, it's going to be out of their mind for a little bit, just like how they don't miss people. They're caught up in the moment, and they need to be caught up in the moment because they don't want to take a step back to self-reflect. They don't want to delve into their misfortunes. They just need to keep busy. That's why they'll go cheat. That's why they'll cancel plans, because something might be more supply ridden for them. They're very unpredictable, but God is not a flying monkey. God is your protector. Just like I said, sometimes, you know, we're down, we're angry at our God. I've been there, you know, like the twists and turns of my life have been ridiculous, terrible. But sometimes, you know, I'm pretty lucky on things too. You know, it brought me to places I never thought I would be. And it's still, you know, do you focus on being angry that you were brought into this kind of toxic relationship, but you don't know what was on the other side, you know? And I think about that too. Was it to protect me? You know, because I wouldn't have taken the easy road. So sometimes we get the rough road to save us from something that we don't even know is out there, you know? And it's hard for us to accept that that's how you protected us. Because you know, in my personal struggle, it's like I get roadblock after roadblock after roadblock to get to my blessing. And it's kind of like, okay, if I'm supposed to have a house in California, why don't you just, you know, let me win the lottery, and it'll come with a ticket, a free house and a ticket to California. That's where I'm supposed to end up, as opposed to, you know, I move it down to Tennessee, and then I don't know, these are just made up stories. The house catches on fire. So now I got to go to Arizona because I have a family member out there, and that family member ends up moving to California. And then I finally set things up, but then things fall apart. So now we got to go over to Georgia because that's where the only other family members are. And then it eventually brings me back to California. It's all these twists and turns in life. It's not always easy. And we start getting frustrated because we're like, you know, you're all powerful. Can't we just make it easier? But we experience life. Sometimes we don't know what we're being protected from. And it's hard to process. Sometimes we're protected in some crazy ways. But as you deal with people that go to church, you know, good and bad people go to church, you know, just because, you know, I had a friend who, she has some religious traits, but she would kind of protest too much, that I wonder how deep her spirituality was, because she felt the need, like, as a good Christian woman. And it's like, you're kind of trying to get me to like you because of your title. Show me who you are based on your actions, based on your compassion. So people use God a lot of times, and narcissists can use God to control you, you know. Be aware of that, you know. And we can't trust labels, you know. Look at the pastors and the priests, you know, with the child molestation that goes on, or the abuse of the nuns, or different things like that. We have to look at people for who they are. Don't look at their labels. Don't try to control them with God. And sometimes that's hard not to do, because we've gone through all this abuse, and we're hurting. Our safety net was taken away. We believe these people would be good religious people, and we feel conned, and we kind of want to undo that con. And this is, I think, Mr. Person, what you're going through is, we want to undo that con. So when we try to use God as a flying monkey and say, you know, don't you realize God's watching you? We're kind of hoping they're that religious person where they're like, oh, you're right, thanks. They're not going to do that. Narcissists want to get away with whatever they can get away with. They're going to get angry at you because they're going to know what you're doing. You can kind of think it's not on purpose, that you're not trying to use God. And you have a kind-hearted way of doing what you want to do, it for a kind reason, but it's where we're judging that person. We're not, that's not up to us. As far as what's in their spiritual heart, and everybody on their religious journey will be at different points in their life. If you notice, some people will be religious for a while, they'll drift off, and then it's usually a traumatic event will bring them back. And so be cautious not to utilize God when they can be on their own spiritual path. God has a plan for them. Maybe he sees, you know, sorry for my language, a half-assed commitment to him. So he's like, this isn't going to work. We need a full commitment. So drift away, something's going to happen. And then you're going to see what I'm talking about. Don't let religion be your responsibility on them. You can witness, you can you know, share opinions, but don't do it in a judgmental way, because God is not a flying monkey. Don't use him as a tool, because empathetic people start picking up narcissistic traits because we're in that reactive abuse. We want to control the situation. We want to undo things. We do it for a kind heart. But, you know, two abusers, now we're, you know, we're not meaning to, and we are victims, you know, just like if you punch me in the face and I punch you back, it's kind of a defense mechanism. You know, do I let you keep punching and punching and punching? It's me kind of setting up boundaries. Try not to get physical with people. A lot of times it gets out of hand. It's never a good way to handle it, but we react. So we are the victim, you know, and that's why, like I keep telling you, my degree's in criminal justice. That's why mitigating circumstances, that's why certain things are overlooked. You know, there's certain rules on when you can shoot someone. Was their back turned to you? If it's a confrontation right now, life or death, you legally can, you know, kill somebody if you need to. But if they're retreating, you can't. And so when we're in these relationships, a lot of you guys want revenge because you're so angry. And if you are a religious person, you know, I don't think, and this is my opinion, I don't think God wants us wrapped up as prisoners in a toxic relationship. It is okay to walk away from people. But to get revenge on somebody who we can walk away from, where it's not false imprisonment. That's another thing too, is, you know, you can't claim kidnapping, which is kind of the imprisonment that they're talking about, if you have a way to escape. So if you are, I don't know, taken to a hotel, kind of where you don't really want to go, and you feel like, you know, if you leave, you're going to get murdered or something. But the guy went away or girl went away to work, and you had a safe time to leave and handle your business, or maybe go to the police department or travel out of state, try to get some help and go into hiding. If you had a way to leave, you can't claim imprisonment, which would be like a kidnapping. So when we're in these relationships, for the revenge to be accepted, I guess, is it in the heat of the moment? Or are you letting the anger build up and then you want to react? Just like if somebody's, you know, about to shoot you, and you survived it. We're survivors right now. So the abuser or attacker has walked away, or we've removed ourselves. Now's not the time to do revenge. Now's the time to heal and interact with the people that are healthy for you. And I just thought it was an interesting thing to bring forth, is I really don't think that that's what God's purpose in our life is to be used as a tool or a flying monkey to get our actions to undo the damage. He's there to help heal our heart, but not in the way that it was being brought forth in those comments. So please like and subscribe, and one-on-ones are available, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.